in the draft. I think he looks at Justin Fields and sees a guy who could have a better completion percentage, whatever, but he doesn't see a superstar, and in the draft, he thinks he's identified a superstar.
I was just asking the question that sometimes when you're on air, you say something because it's like, oh, well, maybe I would think about that way. But when you're actually in the seat, would you pull the trigger on something like that?
That's a whole other question.
Like,
right?
that's a bold move, Cotton.
Well, Ryan Poles is in that seat, and he says they need to be blown away to take a quarterback number one. Listen to Ryan Poles. This is the Bears GM at the press conference. The question is this, well, you'll hear the question. Listen.
I'm excited for the direction he's going, and as I mentioned before, he knows where he has to improve. I think you mentioned that the other day. So we're excited about his development and where he goes next. He showed ability to be impactful with his legs. There's flashes with his arm. Now if we can put that together, I think we have something really good.
Because you have the first pick, there are people that sit there and go, the quarterback might be available there. You're saying Justin's your guy.
Well, we're going to do the same as we've always done. We're going to evaluate the draft class, and I would say this, I'd have to be absolutely blown away to make that type of decision.
Ooh. Key. He didn't say next question.
There's a couple things here. There's a little bit of inexperience by Ryan Poles, but there's also some trickery and experience by Ryan Poles. And what I mean by that is the inexperienced part is you didn't endorse your quarterback, so you may alienate him depending on how his feelings are. That's the inexperienced part of getting into the situation, high draft pick, general manager, the whole deal. That's the inexperienced part. The experienced part is I'm smart enough to know not to tell the other 31 teams what I'm thinking at the top because somebody else really wants one of those quarterbacks. And I can I can trade out of the number one spot and get a whole bunch of stuff and still have my quarterback in Justin Fields. So I want to make people think that there's a possibility there that I could take what they want with the number one overall pick.
But he did that.
But Key, that's why I'm a little lost to what you said. Because first off, I don't see him alienating Justin Fields. He came out and said we're excited about where Justin Fields is going.
Yeah, that's true.
There's room for him. And by the way, just for people to know, Ryan Poles and Justin Fields have a great relationship.
But when you say I have to be blown away, you're not saying Justin Fields is our quarterback next question. You're saying there's a possibility that I could draft that guy.
So what happens?
There is a possibility I can draft a guy because I want you to think there's a possibility I can draft a guy, and I might be blown away because it raises the value of the overall pick. What are you willing to give me for the pick?
He's reconciling your 2 points. He's saying that what Jay seems to be saying, correct me if I'm wrong, is, look, he's doing what you're suggesting, which is I might take that guy, and if his relationship is like that with Justin Fields, he just takes him and has this little sidebar.
Yeah, but the inexperienced part is you have to say certain words to guys because certain guys, no matter how great your relationship is with them, they're very sensitive, especially when you start talking about replacing them even though you don't replace them. So they've got to be kind of on the same page to a degree. On top of that, it's important for Justin Fields' representatives to tell him, don't get caught up in the business that's going on in the National Football League draft offseason. Yeah, because players can get caught up in that and start to think that the organization don't really like them.
Yeah, but Kia, I'm telling you, Justin Fields isn't one of those sensitive quarterbacks. That dude, he's built different.
Until he's sensitive.
But he's not because of the relationship with Ryan Poles. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm not saying that they don't have a great relationship.
I know, but I don't think Justin Fields is tiptoeing around the organization feeling like he's going to be replaced.
Well, not yet. Not yet.
Look, everything is trending in the right direction for Justin Fields.
Yes, Jay, but when these questions continuously come up to a general manager and you only human nature as a player, then when you keep hearing, oh, they like Bryce Young, or they thinking about doing this, and maybe and you start hearing that, it's only going to affect the young dude.
But it's not. But Key, it's not going to affect the young dude when the young dude has a relationship with the GM and has an understanding about how this game is going to be played, right?
And that's why I said if they're on the same page, it ain't going to be a problem.
But what I'm trying to tell you is they're on the same page. There's a little bit of politics here when you're trying to lure people in. Just confirming your latter point. There's politics involved when you're saying, hey, but if I'm blown away,
it drives the price.
It drives the value of that pick.
It drives the price up of the pick. And by the way, what Mike Tannenbaum was suggesting was not taking the #1 overall pick and drafting Bryce Young because Bryce Young's not going to go #1 overall potentially, right? He's saying trade down out of that pick up draft capital, then draft Bryce Young. I think he thinks he's going 9th or something like that.
No. I think he said Bryce Young #1 overall.
Yeah, he was saying he loves Bryce Young.
Then how do you get all the draft picks he's talking about?
No. There's not a lot of draft picks. Oh, that's what I was trying to tell you yesterday.
Oh, for Fields. Pardon me. You're right.
A 1 and a 3.
You're right. No,
is what he said he would trade Fields for.
That's right.
A first-round pick and a third-round pick. Then he would get about 4 or 5 free agents in the free agent market. And then he's got Bryce Young to reset the clock.
That's what it was. It was the trade of Justin Fields that brings.
But like I said before,
you don't get that in the free agent market anyway.
You're gonna get it in the market anyway.
Would you spend the #1 overall pick on Bryce Young?
No.
Would I?
Neither would I. Yep.
Would I spend it
for Justin Fields?
No. Regardless, whether or not you had Justin, would you spend the #1 overall pick on Bryce Young? He's a very smart, accurate quarterback, but
I like his ability as a football player.
Yep.
He is a Southern California guy. I think he has some amazing talent. The thing that always pushes me back is when I look at him and I think, what happens when Quinnen Williams grabs him by one arm, or Nick Bosa, or Joey Bosa, or any of them dudes that they going to go up against, grab him by one arm when the tackle is engaged with the defensive player, but he still has the ability to reach around him and grab him like a rag doll because he's a $120. Yep. That's my problem.
Yep.
I don't like the statue. I don't like the size. If you stretch him to 6'2",
then
and you widen him a little bit to 210, now we talking.
Yep.
Now we talking.
100%. I think it's hard to spend the #1 overall pick on an undersized quarterback.
But just remember what I've always told you, Jay, and I refer to Jay because you were not here at the time, Max. They're going to eventually find you when you small.
I hear
remember, I always tell you
I know you said it. You said about Kyler Murray.
They're going to eventually find you. You ain't going to be able to just run around, and they're going to find you because them dudes, them is grown-ass men with full beards with car seats in the back, and all they know how to do is hunt for the quarterback.
Payments. And families.
Multiple.
Them dudes ain't playing with you. They're not playing with you.
The Bears have $118 million in cap space.
Yeah. I could eat up about $30 million of that cap space right now.
$118 million in cap space. No one in Chicago wants the Bears to trade Justin Fields, right? 888-SAY-ESPN.
Man, please. Man, if they trade Justin Fields, they going to set
729-3776.
They might as well.
I can't even.
No one in Chicago wants them to trade Fields, right, Chicago? 888-SAY-ESPN.